Hey, greetings and blessings again, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I'll be dropping the link to join the panels. I know many people show up to see what might emerge from the panel. That is an exciting part of these streams. But to start, I want to get into some ideas of faith again. I had the blessings of being really inspired, some simple observations that I know now to be true. The idea of, personal transformation, right? The idea of pursuing a path of enlightenment, becoming a greater version of self-development, doing the inner shadow work, going within the mind of yourself, your memories, in order to find peace. Topic today, mindful of peace. I am sitting here, brothers and sisters. If you're here now or later, please know my mind is full of peace. My heart is just filled with love, filled with joy, and please putting those energies out there with the words. So I want us to share a better day, right? And we can start the better day right here. Because I've talked about this guy before, John St. Julian. Let me see. I clipped just a very short piece of his video from I think it was yesterday, and then the rest of that and then some other conversations I've had really has filled me with inspiration. So let me share this real simple short clip, basics of being a human. Whoops, wrong way.
Automatically follow basics of being a human. It's a basic that we aren't taught. It's very simple, but it's a basic truth, and it gives us power. It gives us unity with God when we know this. Do you feel an impulse in your body telling you to do something? Yes, I do. Wonderful. Are you aware now that you don't have to follow that impulse? Yes, I am. Wonderful. Be aware of that, and remember never to let that impulse become your master. Likewise with the mind, you can say to a child, are you aware that your thoughts are asking you to do something? Yes. But are you aware that you don't have to do it? You don't have to agree with your thoughts? Yes. Good. Remember that, and know that thoughts must never become your master. For all they are suggesting things, and it's very innocent in its suggestion, it should not become that which you automatically follow. Basics.
So, yeah. To me, I shared that clip elsewhere on other social media as well, because it really is the basics. If you want to change your life, if you want to get control of your life, then you've got to choose which thoughts you follow and choose which desires you pursue. It's really, really that simple. And so the things I've experienced a transformation within. And I do hope for others to find their own transformation within, to become the awareness of the being. It's so much more peaceful. It's so much more easy to find great gratitude. I'm pretty sure it's how we're supposed to live. But this world is kind of a tough place, and people have a lot of, people have been taught to be tough in order to survive, even in order to fit in. You got to put on this tough exterior, nothing matters, you know. But in order to be tough, you really got to, the way many people put on the appearance of being tough is just by putting a tough shield around that heart, so it doesn't get hurt again, you know. So the way to transform your life, though, it is to transform your heart. A transformation of the heart is the key, right? And many people are explaining these things, and they teach you to retrain the mind. And that's what I did. I retrained my mind in order to transform my heart, to expand my heart. But the more I'm thinking about it, I think the heart is the first place to go. Because in the end, that's where you go to be. The goal is to live your mind from the heart as though you are a vessel. You're a vessel for the creative force to experience life and to influence the world that we share. It's that video he shared here, actually, so I don't forget. Let me do this too. Blessings. I just dropped the link for those who desire to join the panel, and I will do that is the link for John St. Julian. It might be the clip that short 1 minute, but you can access the full video from there. So the idea of all the teachings, all the religious philosophies, and the people that the religions were formed, they were offering a philosophy of life, a perspective of being. And that's what the enlightened being is the Zen state of flow, or the fire of life that's within. The idea is to learn how to overcome our thoughts and our desires, to make sure that the thoughts are pure, the thoughts are loving, the thoughts are wholesome. And the same thing with our desires. Nothing wrong with having desires. There's nothing wrong with exploring life. But we've got to care and love the vessel we've been given. This human body, it's like a divine technology. It's what allows us to experience life. And these bodies, man, get your mind pure, right? Become the saint that you are capable of becoming in your way, your clumsy way, but it'll grow and develop. I believe, so my experience leads me to believe that when we do seek God, seek the answers, seek connection to the infinite, we recognize that the infinite is, okay? The all-knowing of creation is that which we all participate with every single day. It's within us and around us, and we have the control within our mind, right? We get to direct and influence our thoughts and our emotions. And it's kind of a cool, guys, praise God. Seriously, praise God. If you can just imagine yourself receiving some of my faith, all you got to do is believe it's there. So, transformation of the heart is the key to retraining the mind. And the way we do those things, the way to break out of the ruts of negativity and judgment, uh, the way to break out of the old ways of thinking is to go within and find honestly what is important. What is important within your life? What would be important for you to achieve? I mean, if you could achieve something, what would it be? These are things that I never really thought, I never spent much time considering for myself. You know, I spend a life improving myself, trying to be better, learning how to fit in, and yet at the same time, you know, try to change things. And little did I know, I think that's kind of this whole game of life that each of us are supposed to realize at some point. We're here to be ourselves. We're not here to be someone else's version, society's version, or the group consensus. We're here to be our honest and selfless self. Because this is back to the point, the like Eckhart Tolle teaches and many others present about presence, maintaining your awareness of now. Because now is the eternity. The eternity exists as now. Now is the eternal moment from which creation started and we are now a part of. So if we're a part of history, all of us together, I was going to ask, why do we make things harder for each other? But I don't think everyone does that. I think we make things hard on ourselves. I know that I used to do that. I know that I used to get angry when people said things I didn't like about me. And here, you know what? Sorry. For those who are available, might be willing, please feel free to click the link and join the conversation. I'm just kind of chilling and hanging out today. The idea I wanted to talk about, though, is that point: becoming spiritually reborn, renewing the self within you, redefining the image that's carried of you, and maybe re-look at the image you carry of the world. There's a lot of problems, a lot of darkness, a lot of things not to like, a lot of things to be afraid of. There's more to hate. And then when you bring people into the picture, holy cows, man, holy cows, people are fascinating. Hey, I haven't called anyone out. Welcome to holy cows, a bunch. NJ Jeep Girl, what's up, Cynthia? Don't judge me. AV. Kind of a variety of topics, but mindful of peace is the guide. Yes, abiding in awareness. Hey, brother, not to ignore you.
How
Welcome.
are you?
How are you today, brother?
Good. Yourself? I wanted to get us together and do a duet together. You pick the song.
No, dude. Um, Snafu, what's up, Cynthia? Big Stank, Jay Heighton. I am the Dow. No, Paul, I'm not going to sing a duet.
Come on,
That
together.
might,
We'll pick a song that we can do.
I don't know. I am open to trying to figure that out, but only if Junior joins us. How about that? The three of us sing a song together.
Can he get through it? I'm open to it.
I bet he could. He'd do a better job than me, man. That guy is he is spot on with the entertainment. He's good at this stuff. What song would you come what song could you imagine us singing? Either you and me or the three of us.
I got you, babe.
Oh my god. Dude. Oh,
No, if you come up with something that I kind of know, you choose. I don't know any of these. What is the one you were talking about with the nails? I don't know anything about that one. What was that
Nine
called
Inch
again?
Nails.
Yeah, I don't
Inch
know about that. I know a lot of tunes, but that's something I don't know about.
No, actually, there are some more current day artists that I heard, and I just can't. I haven't put my mind to it for a while. We have another guest. Welcome,
Hi,
Cynthia.
Jack. Hey, Papa Paul. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
So you're Paul's dad.
Nope.
You're not. You don't claim him. That's
What
odd because a lot of people,
what makes you think I'm his father?
because people in the chat are saying it.
Oh, you believe everything you see in the chat?
The internet never lies.
Oh, never, never.
So nice to meet you. I've heard a lot about you.
I'm sure all bad.
No, not all bad.
Don't believe everything you hear, Cynthia.
That's how come I'm
just
excited to
saying.
come up here and talk to you.
Okay.
But hey, you guys carry on. I don't want to just take over because that's rude. But for real, Jack, I want to see you do a duet. Like, I really want to see this. I feel like it'd be really good.
What would you suggest song wise? Paul suggested or PFL suggested what was it?
I'm
Me,
sorry.
babe, or whatever.
I actually like that Steppenwolf. That's got a lot of energy in it.
Do you like Hall and Oates?
I don't think I did.
Okay.
I don't remember liking Hall and Oates.
They're all right.
Depeche Mode or
Duran Duran.
Wow.
some Duran Duran.
Yeah.
Hungry like a wolf.
That could be.
Or Wild Boys.
All right. Now songs are starting to come up. I didn't come up here to talk about songs.
You said it was an open panel, Jack. So
Yes.
we're talking about songs.
Yes, it is. It is an open panel. And you know what? Life is about fun. We're supposed to have fun together. I think a lot of people I know how I used to be, and I know what I see. People take memories more seriously than the opportunities of the day. All right, Paul. Now I thought, since it's an open panel, the thought did come up. I've got a desire and a hope for you and Junior, man. I see you guys have so many of the same patterns. I just see it, and
Jack,
I know the love is there.
Of course, Jack.
It's
listen,
obvious.
I don't want to get that deep into it, but Jack,
I know.
Don't believe everything you hear. That's where it's ending here, Jack.
Love you,
have
brother.
a specific
Fair
question. Don't believe everything you hear. That's all I'm going to say on that topic. You know what it's like. You know,
Well, yes, I do. But here's the other thing where I've got to question.
Go ahead.
Because you have signs of confusion as well, brother. If you're genuine about, I don't know how much has been an act with you, how much has been a bit non-bit. I don't know. You guys are great. Never mind. You're a mystery.
Okay, I have a
Go
couple
ahead, Jack.
questions,
Continue.
Papa Paul.
Finish.
I have a couple
You're
questions.
on the right
Let me
track, Jack.
let me come back just a moment, Cynthia, please. All
Mhm.
right. Well, regarding the view on politics.
Oh,
We're
that's yes. No, we're opposite ends. Yes,
okay. Well, here, Paul, PFL.
yes.
In that area, your son is spot on.
Jack, everybody has their own mind and own opinions.
Okay, but the
I'm not
fact,
saying I'm not saying he's not. But if we can agree to disagree, Jack, that's all it's about.
hey, how about this? This is an idea I had earlier, so
Go
please,
ahead. Sure.
I hope it's not stupid, but I
No.
haven't clearly thought it out. The thought, I'm very clear about my goals, and I believe a path is available for me to at least explore and pursue to get in front of the citizens of the United States government, perhaps the UN, the purposes of ending wars and bringing worldwide reform. Paul, he made a comment yesterday or recently that about going to the top and not seeing me and him there. Well, PFL, if you believed there was better options than what we have currently, if you believed that better options were available and your son and I could be part of making that happen, you'd change your mind about government, first of all.
Jack, I'm not crazy about government. I'm not that
Okay.
way. Yeah.
Well,
Again,
then,
I've spoken behind the scenes that you and him together can do something, that I believe would be very good.
you know what would help him do it, though, would be the belief. If more people believed that it could be done, I personally think I'm prepared to do it. I believe Paul has a better gift of uh, expression. He's a wordsmith. He is an
Yeah,
artist.
yes, he is, but you bring a different flavor, which that's what a team does. Different
Well,
flavors.
sorry to interrupt. And actually, here's part of the difference too. Is I see this YouTube as just a temporary tool. Okay, it's simply to get doors open and get something going. Um, so my focus isn't so much on getting subscribers and or even an income, although I know it's very possible to make a damn good income on here, but I don't know. I don't know where I'm bringing this up. I think if Paul believed he could change the world, he would. I don't know what's convinced him to accept that maybe it can't, but he's got some doubt in him. And his doubts have been the doubts and belief, doubts and disbelief. Those two things, now that as I'm talking it out, I think doubts and disbeliefs are what keep us from connecting with each other.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So I'm offering you to allow yourself some doubt and disbelief in Trump and the other stuff. And I think if more of us make a commitment to change this world, we will. We'll find a way. I don't know.
Well,
Here. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I have a lot of doubts and disbeliefs if talking about government. I do.
I know.
Absolutely. Look at the mess we're in right now. Look at all the corruption we're seeing, and that's been going on forever. But we're just seeing it now, really out in the open. We always knew how do these guys that are in Congress all their lives, and they're all multimillionaires. They're making 175 grand a year, whatever it is, and they're all filthy rich. Come on.
Amen. PFL, I was just thinking, let's come back and Cynthia, please, you had something to offer.
Sorry. Um, nice to meet you, Paul.
Hello.
Senior. I definitely agree with you when you say that Jack and Paul have a balance about themselves. They're honestly, as much as people are either going to resonate with Paul or they resonate with Jack, but you need one in the other.
We've been speaking about it for quite a while now, but
Mhm.
we don't see eye to eye in a lot of things.
Right.
Right. Well, I've heard.
You and
So
him
I
as
have
well.
a couple of questions, just because I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm only recently started watching both Paul and Jack. Not even a month now. I've heard a few things about you, but if some good and some bad. And if you don't mind, I would like to ask you a couple of questions. I'm kind of known to ask questions. Is that okay?
You can ask, but I don't know if I'm going to
Oh,
tell. Go
no
ahead.
problem.
Go ahead.
So are you from New York? Have you lived in New York your whole life?
Yes, I am.
I love the way you guys. I'm from Texas, so the way y'all
Oh.
say "use," I love that.
Use. All right.
Use. Y'all
Use
have
guys.
New York. Yeah,
Use
New York.
guys.
Yeah, New York has a certain a swag about them, a certain vibe about them. Some of the things I've heard is that you don't see value in Paul's show. Is that a true statement?
Let me answer the question with a question. What do you think?
Well, I don't know, because I see you over there in the chat, but then I hear Paul's side of the story. But then I think if you weren't taking an interest, you wouldn't be in the chat. Like my parents aren't in the chat.
He knows it's, again, don't believe everything you see and hear.
That's why I'm asking you. Do you think that there's value he brings? Do you think that his
Absolutely.
show has okay?
He knows that. He knows.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I can agree with you on that
I'm
his show
not
does bring value.
jealous. It's so ridiculous. How can a father be jealous of their son? That's such a ridiculous
Who
statement.
said that? Who said you were jealous?
Listen, Cynthia. Sometimes I just go along with the, let's call it the program, whatever you want to call
The
it.
bit, non-bit.
Well, okay, we can say that, but obviously I'm not jealous. I'm very proud of him, and we've been doing this. You know, it's been a long haul, and again, don't always believe everything you hear.
Okay.
Not always the truth.
Yeah, because sometimes he does kind of go hard on you.
Yes, he does.
And then I wonder how come you don't come up and talk to him.
I've done many times, but a lot of times it's not healthy, because we're doing this thing that, again, I don't want to get too deep into it. Just
Right.
that it puts out the wrong perceptions that I'm not really happy about. Let's put
Okay.
it that way.
And if I might say, it's a lot like it has a lot to do with father like son. You know how to trigger people just like he does. He gets it from you.
Well, it's again. I don't want to get too deep into it again. But
Yeah, just to simplify it.
Him and I know the deep truth here. So.
Paul told a story about how you went back to college and got a degree later in life. Can you share that with me a little bit? Because that's inspiring.
Well, when I was in my 40s, just to try to keep sharp, you start losing a little bit. I decided I wanted to go back and get my bachelor's.
Nice. And what did you get your bachelor's in?
In psychology.
Nice.
Summa cum laude.
Oh, okay. Proud.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Was that difficult to be in your 40s back in college?
Yeah, because when you have a family and you're trying to study and fighting with Paul as a little child, and it's a long story, but it was difficult.
Well, congratulations. That is a major accomplishment. It's a major accomplishment to finish college, but to do it in your 40s, like, that's truly inspiring.
Yeah, I had the associates when I was a teenager, but again, I just wanted to try to keep sharp, just to see if I could do it. Actually, I always like to test myself.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're older, you take things a lot more serious. At least I did when I was younger. So for me, it was all or nothing.
Do you see that same quality in Paul Jr., where he tests himself just to see?
Yeah, I see a little bit. Again, he's come a long way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a long story behind it, and there's a lot more. I'm not going to get it. If he wants to talk about it, he can talk about it. But there's a lot more to it. There's a hell of a lot more to it.
Okay. No, I appreciate you answering the questions. I just, have been wanting to speak to you. I see you in the chat, and I was just curious and just to hear your side of it. Again, I've only heard Paul's.
Like I said, sometimes you gotta make your own decisions because some of the things, like I said, I'll play along sometimes. Yeah, I'm jealous. It's ridiculous. Father is at least me anyway.
Even you showing up is a form of you helping him and supporting him.
Okay, absolutely. And I've always, from day one, going way back, he knows. He'll make fun of me. Look at my biggest supporter, but he knows I am.
Good. I really enjoy his show. I find value in the things that he says. He's an excellent wordsmith.
Absolutely.
He is wonderful. He truly has a gift. One that I just said earlier today can't be taught, and he has it. Has he always been this way as a young child?
Well, yes and no. He was babbling at 3 or 4 years old. He was, honestly. In pre-K, I get the calls every day. Paul's saying this and that, and I was like, oh God, because he was repeating things that I didn't want repeated, and then yeah, he was.
Now, is Paul a redhead? Like, he looks redhead to me. Is he a redhead?
I guess you could say that. That's the Irish side.
My niece and nephew are redheads, like redheads, and I truly believe that the redheads are just a different character. Like, they just have a different personality about them that's very tenacious.
Well, I don't know if it's the redhead, but yeah, he does have a different personality. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're very aggressive. Even from the time they were little, they were just aggressive kids. And
yeah, for him it was oppositional.
Okay, alrighty. Well, thank you so much. If I think of anything else, I just kind of wanted to hear your side.
All right, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
What's the matter, Jack?
Well, I'm curious, out of my own curiosity. So when you went back to school, how old was your son?
Let me think.
Roughly, I guess.
But maybe 10. I'm guessing roughly 10.
Dude, that's so. To empathize with the dad, right? As I understand, single dad and working, going to school at the same time.
And being mother and father and chief cook and bottle washer and everything under the sun. It was a lot.
Well, this society makes it very challenging, that's for sure. And that's honestly, I've got a huge soft spot for single moms. I mean, that's what raised me, was a single mom. And it will bring us right into the deep topics. I've spent time with, my mother chose to carry a child and bring it through, even though she didn't know what the hell she was going to do or what she was doing. And she did it on her own. And then I've had relationships with other women who made the choice to go through an abortion because, the plans for the future would be changed. So this world we live in is corrupted. It's criminal what our economic and what our systems of economic and government have created is criminal. Hey, Snafu.
But getting back to the mother thing.
Mr. Talcott, Mr. Paul Sr. How's it going, guys?
How you doing?
Pretty good. Hey, I just wanted to ask Cynthia.
Hey,
she's always asking a ton of questions, Talcott, and I don't know if you saw her last video about talking.
Hold on. Snafu, I interrupted you. I'm sorry. PFL was just going to share something, and I
yeah,
didn't
go
want to
ahead.
interrupt. Okay, I thought, please, what were you, the single mom thing?
Yeah, the single mom thing. Unfortunately, children need both a mother and a father, but the mother is more important than the father. And unfortunately, Paul didn't have that, unfortunately, and because the mother tends to be more nurturing than, in my opinion, than the male, and that's something that unfortunately he didn't have.
But he's very blessed that he had you to stay with him. Like some people don't even get that.
Yes, and I went through a lot, and that's one thing I do pride myself on, that I stayed through thick and thin, and there was a lot of thick and thin too. So.
I'm sure there's a lot more thick than thin.
Yes, absolutely.
Mr. Talcott, I do got a question for Miss Cynthia, since she's the question asker here.
Yeah.
No, I want to know why you did a video talk about Jack's drinking on your last video you did. Like,
did I do a video talking about his drinking?
Did you ever talk to Jack personally about his drinking, or did you just go ahead and say what you said? Because you heard it from people.
Hang on. Did I do a video about his drinking,
Yeah,
or did I just
curious,
bring it
Cynthia.
up in one of my videos? Because I'll be happy to run it back for you right now. We can all listen to it together. You want to do that?
No, I'm asking, did you ever talk to Jack personally about what you heard, or did you just throw it out there on the internet because you wanted to?
What I did hear from Jack was he talked about he had a drinking issue and overcame it. Let me find the. Hang on, I have it.
No, I heard what.
Give me a
said.
second. We're gonna discuss it. Hang on. Give me a second.
I also see your optics of what you try to do with Jack and discredit him versus Paul. I see what you do, Cynthia.
Hold on. Let's not jump to assuming ill intentions. Okay.
Well, it's not assuming. She showed you the optics, Jack. Let's just say how
right. But when we view things, we need to bring it into the context. And if someone is sharing that, yeah, I was a worthless, hopeless alcoholic, and I found my way through that. Yeah, if someone can help use that story to help others, that's why I'm open about my life.
I think she was more like saying, look at this ex-drunk versus like your story of overcoming it.
No, that's not what I was saying. I was saying that should be commended. I even said that is to be commended, because that's not an easy defeat to take. Snafu.
Oh, okay.
You chose to hear what you heard. You chose to cherry pick what you heard, and you're trying to just cause something with it. You're incapable of understanding a complete sentence. You're incapable of understanding a complete sentence.
I'm incapable, but you're the one asking 20 questions like a fucking fed.
Snafu, please. Okay. She actually offered honest feedback and I agree with what she said. You know, human tendency is for us to key in on one little piece and jump to these assumptions and conclusions. And even if there was a little, hey, making fun of this guy, I don't care. I know who I am, and I know what well, I don't know, but I have
it right now. We'll play it.
Jack thinks about me. Jack seems like a sad, lonely man who's completely lost. I've heard him talk about his alcoholism. His friend came up and testified.
How many videos have you watched prior, Cynthia? You say you want to learn, but how many videos have you watched in the past of all these people? It's gargled bullshit.
That's not an easy task. That is to be commended on all levels, but I think that he still has more things to work through.
But what's the title of your video called? And then did you
chaos
play the
a
rest
good
of
thing
what
or
you said
not?
about Jack?
Is chaos a good
Jack,
thing or not?
Go watch it. Go watch it. It's funny because you're definitely showing optics for. I'm sucking on Paul's nuts, but I'm gonna fucking.
Y'all with the ball licking. Y'all just are sad. Y'all say ball licking like it's a bad thing too, and I don't understand that. But okay, y'all must not
Tell him, Jack,
balls licked.
He's on the wrong channel here. Go to the other channel.
Anywho, so thank you, Jack, for understanding that. Again, listen, my father was an alcoholic, and I remember him being an abusive towards my stepmother, and that was just a very abusive, just a horrible thing as a child. It's one of the reasons I don't drink now. But he went to the doctor, and the doctor told him, if you want to continue to live, you have to start drinking. And he walked out of that doctor's office and never drank again. I commend him all the time, because listen, dad would get drunk and would take us shopping, and then we'd all get in trouble the next day. But it was like that for my whole life. And for him just to turn it around in one day, that is true strength. I don't know, if I could just stop smoking weed in one day. Like, I've tried and it doesn't last. So I definitely commend you and anybody else who has defeated that demon. Like, don't let snafu make it something it's not.
Hey, God bless. I don't know what my son will say about his life with me and my drinking. I know he carried shame. He carries. The last conversation I had with him, it was brief, but he was definitely carrying shame and resentment towards me.
Hey, Jack, can I jump in here?
Please, brother.
So,
Welcome back.
Thank you, brother. It's good to see you guys again. As a son of a man who fell what I would consider short of what I would want as a father, he did a few things, overdid a lot of things, and I could say, as somebody who was in that position, who was hurt more than anything, I would say that all I would want from my father right now is to call me up and just ask how my day's going. As stupid and sad as that sounds, like, just the thought of it makes me tear up, because I like with joy almost.
Where is he?
Oh, my father is he's in California, but my stepfather was the one who raised me, and he's pretty much on his deathbed. So that sucks, because he's like, me and him have a good relationship, but me and my real father, our relationship is really, it just never was there, dude. And all I'm saying about that, it's not about me, it's about you, is like, your son probably just wants to hear your voice, probably just wants to hear from his dad again, just to know you're alive, dude. Just to know that you're like doing good again. And as stupid as it sounds coming from me, man, I don't think it's a joke. I think that if you found a way to call him up and just share with him like 30 seconds of, hey, I've been thinking about you. I've been wanting to talk to you. If there's any way you can reach out to me, I would love for you to reach out to me. I would love to hear about, and then say what you would love to hear about him. And whatever that is. And yeah, don't wait till it's too late, dude, because time's flying, man. And there might be a day where he gets in an accident or you get in an accident, and neither one of you have that time. So it might be scary, might be the scariest thing you've ever done, but I guarantee you that your son's probably waiting for it.
Thank you, Moose. Hey, the thought that comes into my head, though, what if your father's waiting, hoping, praying for a call from you? Doesn't know how to do it for himself.
Well, I have reached out myself, and I do reach out.
God bless.
So it's not like I haven't closed the door on communication or anything. He just doesn't, he's not father material, Jack. He doesn't
Hey, I understand, my friend.
He doesn't want to be, he doesn't have an interest and he would rather go fishing than, talk to me about catching a fish than talk to me about playing, baseball or something. Nothing wrong with it, right? Everybody lives their own lives. But I honestly think, dude, even if you failed trying to talk to him, just doing it, if he looks back on his life, he'll know my dad tried to call me 3 years ago to get in contact with me before he died or something. I'm not saying you're gonna die. I'm just throwing shit out there.
No, thank you, Moose. This is what I've recognized. I realize if given the opportunity, I know we can start renewing a relationship like we were never apart. But um, this is my life.
No buts, Jack. You got to take the butt away. You take
Moose.
the butt away, and you're gonna get there, man.
Okay. All right. I agree. However, consider this. All right. My goal is to speak at the UN. My goal is to speak at the White House in D.C. Those, to me, those are just as realistic as me speaking to my son. I've done everything I can. I keep failing to open any doors of communication. So that's why I'm here. But I trust. I shared this. I shared this in a different conversation, brothers and sisters. Faith, okay, not faith in my ideas, not faith in Jack's plans, not faith in yours, not faith in anyone else's. Faith in the all-knowing. There is an all-knowing. What Yeshua, Jesus, spoke of as the Father. It's the ether and the essence from which we are. So we've just got to learn how to overcome our egos, stop carrying our memories and our judgments and opinions of everything, and become who we are today, not who we were. We can become who we are today, and with a calm presence, connected and aware with the aware of the all-knowing, which is revealed within us and through the creation. If we stay aware and with the goal of understanding and connecting to God, to each other within, I really think that's the key, if that makes sense. Hopefully.
I think you said that very well. Is that Moose down there? Okay, Moose, thank you so much for sharing your story. I think like with every father, son, mother, parent, child relationship, each story is different. And so one of the things about YouTube is that these are things that are immortalized. Is that the right word? And that they're able, someday his son is able to hear the things that he had to say. So I think that Jack is doing a great job of just being himself and believing in the Lord and trust that he has a plan.
Amen. Thank you. It's, sometimes, well, logic brings me to that conclusion. I can be all upset and stay up late worrying and, screaming at the walls, or I can have faith. So Beth Dutton, no such thing as God. The evidence proves you wrong.
Beth is she's a blessed woman, and I find her to be a funny lady.
Hey, you know what? I used to believe things like that. I never really tried to take the time to understand many things, okay? But our churches, our religions, the doctrines, the traditions of the past have brought a lot of confusion with them. And, what I've experienced for myself, the evidence of the Creator is in the creation. Okay, we are the creation from the Creator. So there's something of divine intelligence, and there's an infinite energy that we're able, scientists, whoever they are, supposedly can measure and quantify. So we're in this bizarre, amazing, dynamic paradox. It changes. Everything is different every moment, and yet it just, I don't know. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm not being as clear. The point, what I've discovered and what others are teaching, it's seriously the idea of mindful presence, being aware of where you are and what's within you. Increasing our mindfulness, the practice of mindfulness, that's what I started doing, just with the focus of actually noticing the brain chatter that was constantly going on, trying to resolve the conflicts within. When I shut my mind up, I finally found peace. And dude, it really is. The way we are supposed to live is so simple. It's challenging to believe. And I'm sure it's by a divine purpose that everything is revealed. I trust that. But the way I've been learning to live is just, it should be common sense and simple. I relax. I allow my choices, my decisions to arise as the opportunities and problems arise. And with faith in the divine all-knowing, that's what Jesus was talking about. I've said this the other day. Even though it might not, in your memory, might not make sense, but love. Love is the reason for living. Love is what makes us. Love is always there within us. It's our minds. It's our minds that prevent us from being grateful. It's our minds that prevent us from forgiving, from changing. So if we settle the mind, the heart expands. And the way I do live, I'm getting more comfortable with it as well, is, God, what do you want me to do? And each day through the day, I find out what I end up learning, what I end up doing. I don't know. I yield. Thoughts? Topics?
The mind is very powerful, Jack. It's hard to overcome sometimes.
Brother, thank you. The mind, there is a powerful force that starts, or its influence with the mind. And these emotions, man, these emotions are no friggin' joke. They will take your breath away. They will bring you to your knees. They will. The thing is, like that, I shared that 1 minute clip previously, the basics of being a human. We just recognize that there's desires within us that make us want to do things. So we recognize that we have desires, but we don't have to let the desires control us. And then the same thing with our thoughts. We know the thoughts are what make us move, and by our thoughts we make our choices, but the thoughts don't have to control us. Just because thoughts happen, well, in life, just because something bad happens, something really, painful, just because something happens in the moments of your experience doesn't mean you got to carry the pain. If we feel the emotions, feel the life that's given, We're going to have highs and lows, but once you start surrendering yourself to the will of the greatest good, the all-knowing, all that is, whatever you want to call it, if you surrender yourself into no self and then just go through the day, hey, how can I make this part of the day better? How can I make this experience better? How can I make the future experiences better? I've been blessed by my experience I've been living this way for a while, but I have the luxury. I have no others in my life, so I don't have anyone telling me where to be or what to do or how to dress
You bring up a very good point about thoughts, Jack. When I was a young lady, still in middle school, I read a book about a Black Panther who spent time in solitary confinement. And the first thing that he said is he learned to control his thoughts, of like knowing when they were good for him and knowing when they were bad, understanding that
You
when
know
it
what?
came in, how
I'm
to
going to
get it out of
interrupt
his
you here
mind.
for the first time in a long while. And I'm going to say, hopefully, Jack gets some discernment when it comes to you, Cynthia, because I've really, I pegged you for somebody who really, comes around here and plays some games with Jack. I don't think you really respect Jack. And, whether or not you're going to laugh at that, that's how I truly feel. And I'm just going to put it out there. And then I'm going to yield.
All right. Well, I appreciate you in your honesty. It's noted. And I guess the only thing that both of us can do is just see where it goes. Correct?
That's how
But
we
you,
roll. That's how we
okay. But
roll.
you did kind of
You
cut
can
me off in midstream. But so
Yeah.
the only thing I would suggest is kind of.
that was that was kind of rude, and
It's
I'm gonna
okay.
apologize for that.
It's
It's
okay.
been a long while since I've done that, so I kind of had that itch.
I
So
gotcha.
I'm not gonna do it again. That was messed up.
Okay. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. But
Come on, Moose.
yeah, but no, but that he was talking about, the gentleman was talking about, how to bring a thought in and how to take a thought out. And it was something that I would love to say, hell yeah, after I read the book, I was a master at it. It definitely takes practice. One of the things that you have to do is learn to sit with your thoughts. Needs one to be something that I learned, like, if they're good, let them flow. Like, even if I'm in a sad situation, I give myself a time limit. You can cry about this for 15 minutes, and then you got to keep going. So, hey, Paul, real quick, did you when you were in school, did you have a lot of conversations with Paul Jr.? Because hearing you talk and hearing him talk, y'all have a lot of similarities. I'm just wondering if he picked it up from you.
I assume some of that stuff, not all of it. Again, he was babbling at a very, very early age. While other kids were going goo goo gaga, this guy was on a roll. That's true. That's true.
So I think that's true of most parents. We're always excited for the kids to start talking, and then we're waiting for them to shut up. But yours has a gift of gab.
Yes, and again, unfortunately, he didn't have the drive. I mean, this is good for him. This is where he belongs. He knows what we spoke about, but he's not into that where he really belongs. But that's just my opinion.
Are you talking about like a San Francisco bar?
Let's not get into it, Moose. I don't want to get in trouble
no,
here.
you weren't talking about me again. I'm sorry. I had to throw myself into the conversation. Oh,
That's
Daddy's
okay.
home.
No, yeah,
Welcome,
Moose.
brother. If I may, Moose, you did interrupt.
Not the second time though.
Moose can't help it.
No, Moose, I recognize. I'm seeing the change in here. I just want to offer some encouragement and feedback, okay? I even appreciate what you offered. I've seen and Cynthia is here and she's welcome, but the trust has not been established. So I understand what you've seen as well.
Yeah, just checking her for you, Jack. That's all it
Well,
was.
here's what I want to offer.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lesson I learned for myself, is jumping into things that I really didn't need to do. And doing
You're right.
so
That's not my
sometimes-
place.
Yeah. But hey, anyway, respect. I appreciate you.
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to lighten the mood a little bit. I got a little heavy with that dad talk.
No, that was good, Moose. That was good.
You know, it's those honest conversations. I feel for you. And I can imagine, but trust, please. We never know what the future can bring. We really don't. That was one of the inspiring messages from that video too, was the fact that seriously, our lives can be transformed in an instant by one choice, learning something new. You know, we don't know what the future's going to bring. We don't know where opportunities can show up, but we won't see the opportunities if we're not paying attention. And so what happens, like this guy explained, is we set in our mind, you know, our prayers, our intentions, our purpose, and then an event happens, and then we're all caught up. You know, oh, we've been searching, we've been praying for answers. We're all caught up in the problem, and then here comes the solution just passing us by. I've had that happen when I've reflected honestly. I'm like, how did I'd been caught up in my stress. The point is, we've got to be aware. There's a divine force. There is a divine force that works with our spirit, and our spirit works with the universe. And if you set in your mind that opportunities are coming, that whatever, if you want to see it, you'll see it. You'll find it. It shows up, but the same works for the negative. If we keep saying that this is going to be the result, this is going to be the same thing, if we can create our reality starting with those thoughts, the ones we believe. Please forgive me for rambling, but now I was just reminded of what Cynthia said. It can take a lot of practice to try and resolve or break the habits of thought of the past. You know, especially, I'm not good enough. I've got no luck with, well, no, that one's not true, but I'm not good enough was a pretty general one that I told myself. And there was tons of evidence from my past, tons of voices in my head from my memories telling me I was not good enough. And that, you know, that seemed believable. So it prevented me from doing, it prevented me from being good enough. I missed opportunities to grow, to learn how to become good enough. I hope that makes sense. The idea to change the patterns of thought, it really is a conscious, intentional transformation of the heart. Because when we change, and you know what? The opportunity is here. And based on the conversations, Paul and Paul, I mean, life is short. We don't know when it's going to end. And if we choose that family is important, it becomes important.
Jack, why didn't this punk ass bitch who calls himself my father come on my panel today while he was typing in chat? What's that all about?
Paul,
if we're going to do this, I'm just going to disappear. We could talk without.
Oh, he's going to run. Oh, sorry, I didn't know that you were that delicate in your sensibilities. You take off running.
You don't need to speak like that.
I didn't know you'd take off running at the mere mention of a few words. I'm sorry.
No, there's no need to put those adjectives in there. There's no need. You could speak, but
What, just because I said punk ass bitch?
Hey,
Yeah.
Was
hold
that
on.
upsetting that you were
Hold
gonna run from that?
on. Golly geez,
Sorry,
man.
Jack. I'm sorry, Jack. Let me bring it back down to center for you. For you,
This is
I'll
a
do it.
different show. This is
I
Jack's show, so respect
well,
it.
Leave this
who
fucking guy.
knows? Well, golly geez. You too, man. Praise God. Paul, you had a question, and it was a fair question. I agree. It's very reasonable and relevant, but you asked me. You didn't ask PFL. Do you want me to ask him? Do you have
Yeah,
a
you
reason?
ask him, Jack. You ask him.
Maybe this could be a way for you guys to communicate. um, can you offer an explanation of why you didn't accept the opportunity to come on the stream earlier?
Because it'll start off like this, and it's just not healthy. I don't want to go in there and banter back and forth, whether it's bit, non-bit, whatever it is.
I
So
understand, but please, I want
He
to.
presumes to know what's healthy, I guess, mentally and
Well,
emotionally.
for
He's
me,
got the
yes, for
market
me,
cornered on
everything.
mental and emotional health.
See,
hold on. Worse, both of you I have seen. You presume to know the future. You presume to know the capability, the capacity, or the intentions of the other. And
No,
this
Jack, he's
presuming,
admitting to you that he's not willing to change his mistakes in his life and himself to get better results. He'd rather just avoid. He'd rather fight and run than to resolve.
I understand how you perceive that, but I didn't hear that said, and I don't see that for myself. And you know what? Out of respect, I would love to try if I can be of a way, privately or here, whatever.
I'm here, Jack. I'm ready right now, but he's never ready.
I am too. Please don't presume, and especially not for the worst. PFL, I know it is kind of spontaneous and counter to what we've discussed before, but what is your willingness or interest?
as far as
Exploring, quote unquote, the like a somewhat of a mediation, some fellowship on the platform, but to try and help resolve or improve, to help improve. That's the goal.
Jack, I come here on your end here for the certain reason, for the little peace and tranquility. He knows when I go over there, I'm up on his panel quite often. He knows that.
That was
But
a no, Jack. That was an
well,
indirect, passive aggressive no, as always. See my point?
actually, it was a deflection, brother. Okay, you didn't address what was offered, and I understand the way things have been and different things could have been, but we're here now, and this is an opportunity. That's all it is.
He doesn't know how to go back and forth rationally, Jack. You know that.
What
You know
if?
that.
What if? What if today's different? And
Oh, that's fine.
Paul and I we've been working together and learning how to communicate better. So if he and I can, and you know what, I don't know the details of your two communication other than the little bit I see. So I've seen it grow between us, and I'm confident. I mean, PFL, you've already said that you've been working on yourself, that you've already been experiencing some growth.
Yes, absolutely.
And you're a humble man. You don't presume that you're finished growing. So, I mean, emotionally, spiritually,
Oh,
whatever.
every day. Learn more
Yeah.
and more every day.
I share the same view of Junior. So, if we're all on that path of growing, it comes down to what is important for our life. And I tell you what, guys, relationships matter. And the father son, well, a single father raising a child, It's challenging because the man, well, and a mom too. Whatever it is, the one is trying to fill both roles. And the two I see of you, you guys have strong masculine energies. And what the feminine would have brought would have been more nurturing, would have been more accepting, maybe more wise. But nonetheless, it's still available. It's still available for you two to share with each other to help grow in that, the acceptance, the nurturing. And it's also available for all of us within. And it is kind of important. Just, I've done this, the mental exercise of picturing that little child, you know, the one who was afraid and, you know, didn't have anyone to turn to. Holy shit. I guess he's still there. Giving him, holy shit, giving him that hug, that reassurance. It's what we all need. It's just, especially the strong man, he doesn't want to fucking admit that. You raised a strong man, PFL.
Chip off the old block, Jack.
Good and bad. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Isn't it amazing? He gets credit for the good, and then I get projected all of his bad qualities onto me.
Oh, no, that was not said. That was not said.
No.
There's a lot of things
Sir,
that
I'm
I do.
nothing like
There's
you.
a lot of things that I do that are wrong that you don't do. So
You guys, I see two. I'm grateful to meet both of you. I mean, had it not, especially not been for Paul's path, Junior, you know, I wouldn't meet half the people I get to talk to pretty regularly. But
You know what? I'll go ahead and
Junior,
concede. One way I've become like my father is I've learned how to stay dedicated to an idea and to focus on something and to quote unquote work hard at it. I know that I sit in the seat and talk, but that's my version of work.
yes, it is. Well,
Much like Jack Talcott. That's as close as I can get to work nowadays, is sitting in a chair in my living room.
but
Hey.
that is work, and that's the good work that you have achieved, that you don't have to go out there and break those bricks anymore and pick up garbage. And that's where you belong, doing that, using your mind.
amen. Hey, Junior, I don't know what else to do to keep myself straight, but I
You
think
can sing that duet, Jack, if you want to do that.
no, this is not the time, man. Hey, what I've seen in both of you is a typical strong masculine energy, which is stubbornness, determination. Okay. Another aspect of that the feminine energy would bring is grace, but that goes with acceptance, right? So I encourage you both to look at yourself. Everyone, look at yourself and see, all right, where am I rigid and why? And what does that do with my life?
Ask Paul what his astrological sign is.
Right. And then ask my father what his is back.
Please, I'm curious. I know there was just a birthday, but I don't know.
I believe it's Cancer, isn't it?
Standing of respect. You're a two-faced motherfucker. See the difference?
Wait.
Oh,
You were
Paul
breaking
Senior,
up.
are you a Gemini?
Yes, I am.
Yes, he is.
Oh, okay. That enough said. Hey, Paul. I finally met your dad. Asked a couple of questions.
Sorry to hear that. My apology.
It's okay. Hey, but going back to what Jack was saying about the masculine energy, to me, this relationship y'all have is like the quintessential father-son relationship that every New Yorker has. And I'm only basing that off of movies. So, like,
oh boy,
you know what I mean?
Vivian,
Like,
Don't compare me to that guy any way, shape, or form, Cynthia. Let's go in a different direction.
Movies, but
What?
every New York family, Italian, whether it be Italian or Irish, every father son has this this masculine relationship, and so to me, y'all are a quintessential New York father and son.
Lou is a Sicilian. I don't bond with Sicilians.
Okay, so you were the Irish.
No,
No,
no.
okay, no. But yeah,
Well,
so but if you're a Gemini though, I've experienced Geminis, I've dealt with Geminis. It's just in y'all's nature. It can't be changed. It can barely be understood. So I can understand how it can be confusing.
Yeah, I don't accept any of that. That's excuses that people make to avoid applying themselves and changing who and what they are to become better. This is pretty simple. You want to become better, then seek truth. Stop fighting and running from it. That's an ego. Everyone has that. It's got nothing to do,
yeah,
from my perspective, with the stars and the planetary movements. It's about what you care about. If you care
yeah.
enough about being better and having truth in your life, you will confront all situation with that countenance. If you don't, and you care more about how you're seen and what people think of you, how you feel, then you won't. And that's what we have going on here.
Mm,
I'm very vulnerable and open and honest. So what you just said is not true.
yeah, I've kind of seen. Well, I've seen both of you be honest and guarded, both, and
There's not many
and
things
that's
I'm guarded with, Jack.
appropriate.
I'm pretty open
So
and
what are
honest and
you?
very
So what
vulnerable.
Could you explain what exactly it is that you've been doing? Is it a bit non-bit when you say that you're running everything and that
You
I'm
know
living off
exactly
you?
what
And
it is. You know exactly
well,
what it is.
okay, so we're doing it again, Jack.
Well,
See, we're doing it
actually,
again because I know what it is, but I'm asking what it is, and we're not getting answers.
well, there's two ways to see this. I agree. I mean, let's not presume what another knows unless it's already been confirmed.
It's been confirmed. He knows what it is.
But he's asking for a reason, and that's the other part. Is I don't know the reason the question's being asked. So
Because he's afraid that the bit non-bit is going to harm him. He knows exactly what it is. Exactly. Miss Dutton has it right on
wait.
cue.
All right. Well, I'm going to call it out. Paul, do you have a fear that if you and your dad got along, if that was public, and that it would change the dynamic of your show in bad ways?
I don't know what that means. I don't even understand how you. I don't even understand how you just got that from what he just said. This is the problem with talking to people who are not concise and have low comprehension.
Deflecting.
Well,
I don't
there's
know
a
what the
reason
deflection is.
here.
Why would I be
Hold on.
embarrassed about having a positive relationship with my father?
Well,
Not
that's
just
what I
not what he-
thought. I actually no. I asked kind of the question, and it was an absurd question, but that's kind of what I thought you were asking. I thought the question was a little absurd, but here maybe I'm
No,
bringing
I'm
confusion.
saying why in
and
a
that's
moment
not
of
my
us
point.
going back and forth with each other would he yell out that I'm living off him?
Was that a joke earlier, PFL, or were you trying to be antagonistic?
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Let's leave it like that.
All right. So admission,
So
non-admission.
another non-answer, another answer, non-answer.
Well,
Do you
here,
see why certain men get no respect from their women and children ever?
can we please? There is a way, and I know there's a way.
Hey, we've gone over this before. Isn't this it? Well, is it true? Because I remember we talked about this one time, and I don't remember the answer. Is it true that somebody put up a page that said "Don't ever date you," meaning my father? It was some page somewhere that said "Don't ever date this man."
That was an accusation by your other side over there, which is a lie.
Oh, okay. Everything's a lie, Jack. You'll notice that it's a common theme.
See, there you go. I have not. If it was true, I would say it. If it was true, I'd say I don't care. I got nothing to hide.
Well, here, let me point this out, okay? Especially as adults, we do what we want, whether it's conscious or an unclear desire. We do what we want. So for some reason, you two want to be apart. You two want to avoid accepting. Here's what I suspect. You're both wrong about different things, but you're both stubborn and strong and very gifted, perhaps, in communication. And so you've been evading and sidestepping and then butting. I watched a pattern of two grown men who love each other, who have a pattern of avoiding agreement with each other. So if you guys can start figuring out where the agreements are, that's where the strength will start building. And then the differences, honestly, if we can focus on the future, if we can see a future together, in some fashion that makes sense for everyone, if you can see the future, fucking move on. The past will work itself out, if that's possible.
Absolutely.
Well, I say, I don't remember how you said it the other day, Paul, but I intend on raising us and raising all those we can into higher places. And Paul, I want to drag you to DC with me, maybe to the UN. I don't know how it's going to happen yet, but if you can see that part, great. If not, no big deal. But maybe you and your dad have some ideas of how to build what you're doing, or where you want to be, where you guys could end up. I just say, if you got that opportunity of relationship with family and blood, I can get over it. Take advantage of the opportunity. There's a reason. There's a reason you made him and he was made by you. Whatever.
So now we have a complete misinterpretation of a bunch of morons in chat. My father's fighting with kid gloves to avoid embarrassing me. No, he's lying. I'm telling him to come out and be truthful, and he never does. You can't flip it and say he to protect me by lying and avoiding embarrassing me. It's not how that works. All right. And where exactly am I an entitled brat? I'll highlight it, right? Where am I being an entitled brat? What am I entitled to exactly? What have I been entitled to? Would you like to answer any of that? Do you agree with any of that? My father? Because these folks seem to be on the money, right? They seem to know my journey, your journey, our journey, my psychology, my ambition, motivation. So what is it exactly that I'm entitled to?
Well,
I didn't say it. That person said it. I didn't say it.
Oh, actually,
Right.
Paul.
So he doesn't even agree because I'm not an entitled brat. I went my own way. I picked up and left. I haven't been back. I haven't asked my father for anything. He's offered certain things. I've taken them at times. If he doesn't want to, I don't ask him for anything because I'm not entitled to anything. If I did ask him for something, it would be a business type situation where he would come at it eye to eye with me, man to man. I'm not entitled to anything from him any longer. I took from him for too long, if you want me to be completely candid. So where am I being an entitled brat?
Are you entitled to an apology for the mistakes that were made?
Apparently not, because I've asked for an apology and an acknowledgement of the truth of the facts of the matter, and I still haven't gotten it. So apparently I'm not entitled to that.
Well, I thought you said that previously. PFL? I mean, have apologies and have those been offered for the wounds, and we all have those been offered.
Yes, he knows that it goes both ways. It wasn't a tough. It was a very tough situation, Jack. So
you're still making excuses. Even the way you talk, you can tell he's still making excuses.
What excuses
I
am
don't
I
talk
making?
about how tough it was when I talk about what I've done and not done in the past. I don't even get into
But-
how it feels. It is
but
what it
you-
is.
Well,
But you
if
tell a lot of lies about me. A lot
What
of
did I
lies.
lie
Okay.
about? Can we hear
Here.
him, please?
here, please.
Can we
There's
hear where I've
wounds.
lied? Because I don't take kindly to folks calling me a fucking liar when all I have is my balls and my word at this point.
Well,
Oh, now we're quoting
hey,
movies. Come on.
actually, let me
Well, it's
jump
quoting a
in
movie
here.
off of a real life experience that I'm living. You're not. You wouldn't know it. You wouldn't
Paul,
know what it's like to only have your balls and your word and have to not break them for nobody. You're a slave.
Well, Paul, which is why I think we are all coming together. I'm not taking sides, and I don't want to turn this into any trial or prosecution. So there have been things said, and the important thing is the present. Okay, this. Hold on. Now I'm retaining my train of thought. I'm sorry. Thank you for your patience. Senior, obviously, when I asked, have the apologies been offered? You said he knows they have. He would not be carrying these wounds if he felt that there had been healing. Now, part of that is his own responsibility, but if we can support, then please, I encourage whatever you can. You're a humble man. Well, maybe the two of you can practice humility with each other, but that would be a private thing, I think, for you guys.
Well, that's a great point, Jack. Because I don't want to say everything here. I don't think it's proper, and I don't want to do it.
I understand that, and I think you can. Well, I hope you can respect that. I know you have a view that you are here in the public, so everything can be, but maybe this is one to take offline, brother. I don't know. What you know, we're all going to do what we're going to do. And one day we just won't wake up or we won't make it to bed. But in the meantime, let's change this world. I love you guys.
I love you, brother.
Well, tell you what, we're coming up on about an hour and a half. We've had some deep conversations, and I thank you guys. Thank you. I think if people are paying attention, they're seeing maturity and hopefully considering their own relationships. Because every one of us has relationships that, they build us up or they can break us down. And, sometimes the combination will let you discover how strong you are. And there's something to consider. The mistakes others made, especially our parents, helps us become who we are.
They don't make mistakes, Jack. They did the best they could, remember?
We all do, whether we realize it or not. Sometimes we lie to ourselves.
In a situation, sometimes you do what you have to do and what you think is best at the time.
Right.
Amen.
Which is just a, I guess, euphemistic way of saying that you don't think very well.
See, it's the constant, it's the constant attacks.
I just don't understand why anyone would have to feel the need to make a statement like, I did what I thought was best at the time.
That's correct. What's wrong with that?
It's a unaccountability statement. It's a deflecting away from accountability. It's I did wrong. I was a jerk off. I caused harm. You won't do it.
See, there it is again.
You want to make excuses that you did the best you could when you didn't.
It's either lies or delusion.
Hold on. You guys are both partial truth.
Lies or delusion. There you go. So now he's going to double down on the gaslighting and insulting and act like that's okay, right?
That's what you do to everybody. You know that.
Back. Okay. I'm actually trying to help support you in this. All right, because
narcissist gaslighter who will never take full accountability for what he says and does.
You talk
Untrue.
about gaslighting. You're the biggest gaslighter.
Well,
The
Because we
delusion.
did it 2 weeks ago. You never brought me to
Paul.
Brookhaven Psychiatric Ward, right?
There you
That
go.
never
There's
happened.
another lie.
Hey,
That's
let's
There you
stop.
go. There's another lie.
Stop.
So I made that
That's
up, right?
another lie.
Would
It's
you,
either
if you were watching, would you believe that I made that up? Of course not. But it's a
it's
lie,
either
he said.
delusion. It's either
Can
delusion.
we
or
come
you're
back?
lying.
Delusion,
It's
right?
not
It's
Can
either
we
a
true.
liar.
come back?
So either
It's
I'm
not
insane
true.
or I'm malicious,
It's
right?
not true.
I'm
It's
muting
not
you,
true.
Paul. PFL, please. Okay. Let's come back to now. Right, we're drifting off into these memories and coming up with a lot of things we can take time away from the purpose. Okay, so where I was trying to get in was Junior was pointing out a deflection. Okay, and it's what your answer was. I did the best I could. Okay, now that's what we tell ourselves so that we feel better. But when we're really honest, I bet you're lying to yourself. Here's my experience. I don't want to project. When I looked back at myself honestly, where I said I was doing my best, I was fucking lying. I was making excuses and just all sorts of reasons why I couldn't do better. But the facts were I wasn't accepting responsibility. If that is true, PFL, if you can recognize, hey, yep, I could have and I maybe should have done better, well, then it changes the dynamic and different words.
Why are you not questioning him on the details of what I just put forth to reveal the lies?
Jack, if you heard the whole thing I said at the time.
Yes, I understand that. Yes. And
this is what goes on now. Now they're talking past me instead of anyone to me and addressing the facts of the damn matter.
Which facts of which
It
disagreement?
just said I'm lying or I'm insane about a psych ward that he brought me to for evaluation.
Okay, in the past, was it a therapist?
Yes.
At a psych ward? Because that's what I heard him say.
Therapist at the hospital that was a referral from somebody else, correct.
That happens. I mean,
So it's an obfuscating answer.
Well,
he's lying indirectly. Oh, it was a therapist at the psych hospital, which wasn't a psych hospital. Why are you lying and calling me delusional and a liar? I was there. I got put behind a wall. They said if you have any a diagnosis, you may not leave here. You didn't give a fuck about how that made me feel, you selfish motherfucker.
Wait, you don't know
still
that.
Don't give a fuck how it made me feel, you selfish motherfucker.
See, this is why you can't have a conversation with him because
you won't take accountability and you don't care about anyone else's experience and feeling.
You're delusional.
You so he can answer. Do you have an answer for him? I mean, he's alleging you didn't care how he felt. You didn't, after taking him there, this could have been hey, PFL, this could have, from that perspective, could have been a very terrifying experience. And here I know for a fact that is where our traumas begin, when we feel like there's something happening and then we don't have someone we can connect to.
Like all of my life, like my whole life, from 1 year to the next.
Paul.
And now this asshole underneath me is going to enable him and say I'm entitled for wanting an answer as to why they've been calling me crazy my whole life and having harm done to me.
Hey, Paul.
I'm entitled, right? I'm being entitled by wanting answers I've never gotten.
Yes, you are. Okay. God gives the answers. Okay. Life gives the answers. The answers come from within. So, Paul, yes. Now I'm going to be a little tough with you. The words I had to tell myself. So what? It happened. Get over it. Okay.
The point is the reason he can't have a relationship with me is because he's still lying to himself and everyone else in his life. Has nothing to do with me not getting over it. I'm pointing you to various situations that point out how he hasn't changed because he hasn't changed his perspective on what's happened. And he doesn't care
Well,
about me
So, in
and what
other
I've been
words,
through and my experience and how I feel because he was the victim of me, if you ask him. I victimized him, right? So that's why we can't move forward because we can't be honest with ourselves and each other over what's
we,
going on and what the
Paul,
resolution is.
Paul,
And I've been ready and willing and waiting.
Paul,
And
here,
I've cultivated
right now.
my
Hey,
understanding since
your
then.
audio,
Haven't
your
noticed.
audio was breaking, so I took that opportunity to mute you. We have an opportunity here and now. Okay, there's an opportunity to heal father and son, generational victim mentality. Okay, PFL, I'm imagining and I'm going to project as a single dad playing the victim, life was tough on you, and so probably not a lot of sympathy for the child. I probably did the same thing. But it brings us to today. And Paul, you're acting like you're presenting, and I know you're trying to just present facts, but you're presenting as a victim because of the pain, the hurt still. There's still some healing to be done, and it's quite obvious. PFL, put yourself back in that time. And if I encourage, if you too, or even, you know what? It doesn't require others to heal ourselves. But I think it could be magical if you two can find a way to
It doesn't make any
help each
sense.
other
They're
heal.
saying I'm presenting as a victim. This is a person who regularly shows up in and out of my at this point, has no regular interaction with me of any substance, does not respect my best and wishes on any level, including the podcast, actively tells lies, and
Damn it.
what
Paul,
is that?
hey, your audio is breaking up. Okay, your signal is fading in and out. And Paul, I don't want
It's
this
just
to turn
bizarre.
into.
It's bizarre that you folks can't recognize personality disorder. It's bizarre to me.
Well,
Right? He's sitting there
actually,
laughing and giggling
you're saying,
as I'm speaking from my heart. He's laughing and giggling.
Paul, okay, please. There's been a
It's
lot
just
of things
complete
said today.
NPD, like all the way
I'm
around, and you
going.
all want to sit here and act like it's anything else.
No,
So when I
Paul.
talk
Actually,
about my thoughts and feelings, even though feelings matter, it's diminished, it's devalued, and we can laugh and giggle at it because I'm so strong and not supposed to feel. See the hypocrisy?
I hope. I don't believe that is that you're reading this accurately. Okay, so Junior, Paul, with all due respect, I'm putting you to the back. I'm going to start wrapping this up. Okay. Thank you. And it's with respect that I put him in the back. All right. So, PFL, we are alive a very interesting time. What I know for sure, love is our answer. And with love, we don't matter as much as, helping others be better. We can all find ways to love ourselves, to make ourselves stronger with more gratitude. More great gratitude for the challenges, more gratitude for the darkness, for the lessons, for the hardships, because I think it's our purpose. I do want to wrap it up. Any final words?
Oh, Jack, thank you for having me up. I appreciate it. And thanks again.
Hey, PFL, thank you, brother. Much love. Okay. Hey, and I put him in the back already, but thank you for being, hey, Heckle, thank you, brother. To the Pauls, thank you. This is the life we're living. Okay. And we really, in my opinion, we've got to capture the opportunities as they arise, as we notice them. We can do the same thing with the problems. Not every problem can be solved right now. Not every fight needs to be made right now. But when the goal is peace, peace within your mind, peace within your moments, peace within your relationships, if you can find peace and bring peace and be peace, it's from a place of peace, right? When we're calm, that's when we can notice the subtleties of beauty and creation, life, nature. We can really capture the essence of each other. When we chill out and we become peace filled, love filled, because filled with gratitude, love, and peace, trust is pretty simple, man. And with trust, that's what's going to build the relationships that we'll establish the connections, and through the connections, we're going to create a movement. And you know what? We'll be looking back on these days, not too far in the future, saying, golly geez, man, what were we worried about? What? Uh-oh. Are you?
I didn't mean to leave. I hit it by mistake, but I'm glad it's just you and me, because I have a couple of things and observations that I want to see how you feel about the Paul and Paul interaction. So it sounds like that Paul Sr. did the best that he could at whatever time, and Paul Jr. doesn't understand. Like, to him, that sounds like deflecting. Like, has Paul Sr. ever elaborated on what he was going through, whether it be financially, emotionally, spiritually, mentally? So that kind of sounds like that's an issue. Like, Paul Sr. maybe has not explained everything that he was just going through. And sometimes as a man, I'm sure, as a mother or a parent, it's hard to explain to our children what we're really going through. And then another thing, Paul Jr. has this, I don't want to call it memory of this going to this counselor that Paul Sr. doesn't see the same way. There's definitely two different opinions on that day, where it was something very traumatic for Paul Jr. Paul Sr. sees it something as funny. He was even laughing through that. And I think that as a parent, again, we have to actually put ourselves into look through our child's eyes. And sometimes, like Paul's always saying, people don't want to take that journey and looking through their eyes. And so I can definitely see where a lot of the gap, remember the gap analysis? I can see where there's a huge gap in there. Like, Paul Sr.'s not opening up. He's not talking about what he was going through, and he's not listening to Paul Jr. when he talks about that day and how traumatic and how he felt. And it's not that he was sad about it or he hasn't moved past it. He needs to be validated for that day. Like, that was a traumatic day to him. Like, there's
many of them. There's many of them. These people have called the police on me, got me arrested before, got diagnosis put on me by testifying to shit that was false or half truths, got me separated from my peers, had me sent to multiple different schools. So how would you feel if you had one person in your life and no mama, and you couldn't fucking trust or respect them to be in your corner and support you at any fucking point in your life, even not now?
I had only the mama. And
you wouldn't be able to move forward with those people. They haven't taken account for what they've done, and they've not changed how they think and act.
Bullshit. I'm calling you out bullshit as a friend, okay?
Right. Because so my father's going to go vote for Donald Trump again and have me put in prison, and you still don't get it.
Paul, hear me out. God bless. You have the power to decide what it takes for you to move on. You get to decide if that's a problem.
I've left all loser failures. I've left all loser failures out of my life. They still come back.
So you want
I
him
don't
out
go
of
to
your
his
life?
broadcast and his show. He comes to mine. Then
Who
doesn't
are
come
you?
up when I ask him to. Then won't
Okay, so
answer
you want him
questions
out of your life?
directly.
You want him out of your life or in your life? What do you want?
Change who and what you are so we can have a
Are you
valuable
willing to do?
relationship, or stay the fuck on your own side of the fence. Simple.
Okay, so are you willing to do as you ask? Are you willing to change your negativity? And dude, as much as you accuse him of lying about you, I don't know what's true and what's not, but I know you're carrying a lot of anger towards him, and you are not perfect with your words. I've
It's
heard the
not
things
about
you
that.
say
You
about
you
me.
watched a person come up here that thinks it's Jack. This is I've literally been in this person's arms dying of an overdose.
I
Right? And he's laughing and giggling about the torture that he's put me through in that home. He thinks it's all a big joke.
Was he laughing and giggling at that time? No, he was
Yes,
fucking
he
worried
was. That's
sick.
the point. He's been doing this my whole life.
He was
He
laughing
cries and
and
whines when
giggling
I
as
get
you're
put in a
dying
jail
in his
cell and when he has
arms.
me put there, and then laughs and giggles in my face when we're addressing the truth, because it's all a joke and it's not real.
And
He's
it's
a
What if
sick,
it
different when it
is?
comes from
mentally
your
ill
parent.
person.
It's
Paul,
different when he was laughing up here, and it's different when it comes from your parent. And Jack, you did wonderful on trying to bring them together. Continue to do that. It's looking like it might be uncomfortable, and we just have to accept that there's going to be no resolution tonight. But you developed a platform for them to speak, and it does sound like Paul needs to get this out. And what a great person to do it with, but you. But I do see, I do understand more so of Paul's position. And it does sound like Paul Sr. But Paul Sr.'s a quintessential New York man's man, and they just don't have feelers like that. Like they're taught at a young age not to think that way, not to be that way. Emotions are for women, feelings are for women, men don't feel. And unfortunately, there's feelings that need to be validated. And will we see it? Maybe not. We just continue to be who you are and do the best that you can. You did a wonderful job tonight. Thank you again for allowing me up. I appreciate it.
thanks, Cynthia. Hey, Paul, I really didn't intend for my stream to turn into your family, but I appreciate you as a brother. I think you know that. There's
Like I said,
healing available. Sorry, go ahead.
no, listen. I mean, again, there's levels to everything. Right? I could be centered and balanced, and I can move forward with anybody, as you've seen with many folks here who've quote unquote done me wrong, lied to me, backbit on me, had channels, all the rest of it, fucked with me and my business, right? My busyness, as they say. I mind my own busyness at this point, and these other folks don't. And then when I say, well, could you come correct and can we move forward? They can't do it. So we remain in a dissolute space. There's no space for resolution if folks won't, account for what they've done in the past, acknowledge it for what it was and why it was wrong, and move forward to do better. Everyone knows that. That's psychology 101. You can achieve. This guy is someone who apparently has a degree in psychology. You're going to tell me it's not laughable? How could we achieve resolution with statements like, I'm lying, I'm delusional, it wasn't a psych ward. Okay, it was a psych ward, but it was a therapist in the psych ward. Are you kidding?
Well, hey, I would have no way of knowing either experience. Okay.
Talcott, I'm just telling you, man, like at the point where I was at, I was so fucked up and broken and had nobody. And there was many of those situations where these folks told me I was crazy, like he just did now, invalidated everything in my life, and brought me to people that told me I may never leave there. Okay? And that was really fucked up to me, to have the only person that I had left in my life throw me to the wolves and to a system that had already abused me all my life, and that he had been part of helping to codependently abuse me with drugs and sick, twisted therapists and their sick labels and all the rest of it, because they couldn't understand me or wouldn't understand.
It was a group fuck up then. Okay. Yeah, the ultimate responsibility lies in the father. But if he was raised, and people have been raised to believe in authority, and if he didn't know this stuff, he may have just, without thinking,
Talcott,
trusted that
how
this
do you
was
have a loving relationship with someone who laughs at your pain and tells you you're lying or delusional? And
well.
does it, I've
How do
done it
you
with
love
you.
someone?
I've done it with you, but I tell you in a reverent way, I say, Talcott, I care about you. I'm not making a joke out of this. This is what I perceive, right? From a clinical perspective. I don't sit there laughing and giggling and act like I'm getting one over on everybody and not give a fuck and now go on with his day and not even message me or call me and act like this is all cool and cute. He's a sick person. And every
Well,
woman who's
Paul,
been with him has repeated the same thing. He's
hey,
a sick person and he's not
Paul,
able to love or be loved.
right. And as often
I
as
don't
you
have that problem.
the apple in the tree, man.
Well, then the
The
women are
more,
lying to me. Then the women are
Paul,
lying to me.
Paul, I don't care. Okay. Here's what I offer to you. The more you repeat stuff like that, the more you're going to believe it. The more you believe it, the more convinced
So,
you are. The
okay,
more
so I'm
convinced,
the
the more you're going to
perpetrator.
say
He's
it.
the victim, right? You're not
Dude,
identifying at all right now.
Paul, what I'm
He
trying to
won't
offer
admit
you.
the truth so we can
Okay,
move forward.
Here's something, a lesson I learned. I think you're learning it yourself. You and I, we learned how to become strong because we couldn't fucking count on others. They were incompetent. So we had to learn strong. Now, I've had the benefit of learning humility. Okay. We can't rise above everything. Sometimes we've got to surrender because we're strong enough to surrender. And then we move on.
What I'm telling you, Talcott, I appreciate that. I agree with you. I can't surrender and move on if the same behavior continues to occur from the other side. That if that's the case,
Who said?
we can't be in each other's life. Who says? So I'm supposed to let somebody gaslight me, lie to everyone about me, abuse me directly or indirectly, not
Paul,
follow my boundaries and wishes, and then just
Paul,
continue to love them and trust them and respect them? That's bizarre. That's bizarre
Paul,
enabling of sickness, and I'm
Paul,
not going to do it.
Paul, that's exactly what's been happening with you and me right in front of you, dude.
Exactly. Now go ask yourself
So
why we're
here,
having this dynamic. You're identifying with
no,
someone who's NPD'd out.
here,
He had
Paul.
trauma early in his life. He lost his father at 15. He's never recovered
And,
from it. He's raised by a woman, doesn't
and
know how to be an honorable man, and will gaslight and not appreciate till the end of his life.
Paul, here, please. I'm trying to have a conversation. I've got a couple people here in the back. I'm trusting they're not coming to antagonize, but if I can't talk with you, I'll bring them up.
No, bring everyone up, Talcott. This has been a great broadcast as usual once I've come in. And the hoes like Flow State and Snafu have been typing away down there because they're desperate to identify with the narcissist in the situation
I
because it's who they
know.
are.
Well, we're all one.
Can I don't want to take sides or anything, but I want to respectfully disagree with what Cynthia said. What's up, Cynthia? Am I echoing? I don't know if it's me.
Paul's got an echo.
Okay.
I didn't want to.
And I'm getting to the point where parents that trust these doctors to tell them what behavior problem their kids have, I've gotten less and less. I'm giving them less and less benefit of the doubt that they had. You know what I mean? There is some kind of disconnect. And I ain't saying that to demonize Paul Sr., but my wife was drugged when she was 14 at school with LSD because she was trying to minister to some guys that were wearing dresses. And this is a girl that was virgin all the way till she got married with me at 24. But when she started freaking out, she was gone for days, Jack. And her parents didn't do nothing. They let the doctors put her on antipsychotics, said that she's had a psychotic break now, and that she'll need them for the rest of her life. And because she took it,
no
because
big
she
deal. Suck it up and move forward, like Flow State says. trauma-based mind control cult with no
And her daddy
acknowledgement.
her daddy didn't do nothing. He didn't say, go get them boys, nothing. And I mean, and I forgave him for that. But when she wanted to get off the stuff, because she was still taking this Alexi Pro crap, and she wanted off that so she could have a baby, and it caused a chemically induced psychosis. And when she went to the hospital in 21, I wasn't allowed any visits because of the lockdowns. Those people did laugh at me. I was told that she was fucking everybody in the ward and that they had to keep an eye on her. And this is a girl that all she does is go to church and sing. If she knew she was sitting there fucking everybody that was telling her that she's their husband, because that's what I was told, that they were all saying, I'm your husband.
Okay, John.
And her mama laughed at me, Jack. And her mama called me to tell me that Shelly has to be watched now because she thinks she's got a bunch of husbands in there. And she laughed. And you know how resentful that hurt bad.
Okay,
She thought
well,
that was her
John-
own daughter.
Okay, John Thomas, the resentment is yours. The laughter may have been an inappropriate method of coping. I don't know.
Well, at that point, she blamed
Right.
me. She hated my guts at that point. So she made that call to let me know Shelly's fucking everybody in Dallas and Green Oaks. Her daughter. That's how much. I mean, does she love her? It's weird. There is something weird going on with parents and believing them damn doctors. I mean, we can't get over that. Blood isn't thicker than water no more.
Well, I mean, I made my own. Luckily, as far as I know, my son has had no damages, but I trusted many of the schedules of care they offer for all the all the injections of children. I didn't know about stuff. I didn't know that problems were. I didn't know there was so much corruption. I was
It's bad.
maybe
And
I
they-
was consciously blind to it.
Once they, like you say, what Paul's saying, once they put a diagnosis on you, you can't convince them because a doctor said it. You can't say, you can never say, I'm a normal person. That's an idiot.
Hey, actually,
You're in a cult.
John Thomas, let me jump in here because actually, there may be something in there with you, Paul. There's a lot of people, and I think you're the opposite. I don't think you identify, you self-identify, you become. But there's a lot of people that will receive this label, this diagnosis from an authority, or they find some similar patterns online and they say, this is what I am. My mind is, there's many ways that people claim to be their label, their diagnosis, their handicap. But our thoughts create our beliefs. And so I could see as a child being said, yeah, you're all screwed up, man. And there's that seed of wonder, right? And, you know, without mom and dad there to talk to, fuck, who knows?
It's
No,
hard
that's
for
the
me
thing.
to
It's
forgive them.
not mom and dad there to talk to. It's mom and dad there telling you that you're a crazy person.
That had to have been tough. I don't.
I just wanted to jump up real quick. I know I've been taking
cutting out,
patch
Jack?
stuff. No, we can hear you.
A little bit, but not bad.
I know I've been
like
taking
when your
pot
mother and
shots from the
father
comments.
constantly gaslight you and tell you you're a crazy person and have you put on drugs, it might affect you a little bit.
It would. It can. It could have. So if you recognize that, Hey, Paul, are you there? You're freezing up, and I think Flo was trying to say something.
I was just gonna share what I did with my own dad, and then if it applies or is useful, take it. If not, leave it. But I didn't talk. My dad and I had a bad relationship, and I didn't talk to him for almost 5 years. And then my mom basically demanded that the family be back together for Christmas. And long story short, the way that my dad and I have resolved our relationship and are now on good terms is specifically by not addressing the past, because we know that we'll never see eye to eye on things, and we didn't have the same experiences, even though the event was the same. And by just agreeing to start today and not deal with the past, only interact now and forward, that's worked for us. So maybe it doesn't work for everybody, but I just figured I'd throw it out there, and then people can do with it what they want. So that's all I got.
That's an interesting. I don't know if that would work for me or not, but I do encourage for everyone with relationships, with our life, if we can focus on a better version, a better image of what we want, the past will work itself out. We can find ways to make things right.
Can I tell one more little story about that instance that kind of, her daddy came to see her in the hospital, and while she's over here confused, and he came in the room, and she said, "Here comes the devil," and he leaned over her on the bed and said, "You're the one with the devil." You're talking about the guy that did nothing to the guys that poisoned his daughter. You know what I mean? And told her that I'm demon possessed, and eventually convinced her I was demon possessed once she got better, to get away from me. We're separated right now.
Can we bring Snafu Snaps up here, please? He's been typing like a female the whole broadcast, and I'd like to hear from him how I'm playing the victim when this is a person who is entitled, as Flow State says, he thinks, to a certain amount of respect. No one's ever respecting him enough in his personal life, but he doesn't do anything or become anything to actually earn that respect. So then he gets disrespectful to others. He feels they're not respecting him enough, right? So he's the one who's entitled, but doesn't want to do and be something to get what he thinks he's entitled to. And that's where a lot of our issues come in. Why would I be entitled to have to respect someone completely who doesn't respect himself and the truth and doesn't move forward in an honorable fashion? And voting for Donald Trump and being a fucking slave and advocating for my slavery isn't exactly something that makes me confident in that process. If you could see where I'm sitting from, right? You know who I am, right? You've been with me long enough. You know how I live. So how could I have my father next to me who is completely in opposition in all ways to everything I live for and stand for and how I live?
You know
Doesn't
how?
seem to make much
You
sense.
want to know how?
Yeah, him stop being a fucking coward.
All right. Well, then how, in your mind, I asked this before, in your mind, how does that happen? What does he have to say? What has he got to do? What is the resolve?
Seek truth. Stop staring at Fox News. Understand to some degree what the fuck this life is and what we're all dealing with, and apply yourself appropriately, like others I've dealt with online who are not my family, who've done more to care about themselves and the truth and my life journey and what I stand for than even my own people. Indirectly, Paul, right? Because they do it for themselves. You do it for yourself. You don't do it for me or to have something with.
Don't you think you'd have a better way, a better approach of persuading, inspiring, showing, revealing the truth to your father? Don't you think there's a better chance with a closer relationship? Maybe just letting those big, huge walls of voting for Trump and stuff like that, just maybe letting that slip from the mind for just a moment, because it doesn't happen today.
Those are effects of a cause. The cause is he's arrogant and egoic.
Right. You can keep making excuses.
Infidel.
All right. Well, Paul, here, all I'm trying to do is help a father and son get along better. But if you want to see your father as an infidel, you'll continue to treat him like a piece of...
God sees him as an infidel.
No,
I just
you're not
observe
God.
and report that.
You're not God. God sees all as
That's how I observe and report. A traitor, two-faced Gemini infidel.
Paul, for the love of Pete, I love you, man. I really do.
I
Let's
can
wrap
tell
this
you I
up.
love you
Hey,
too, Jack Talcott.
Well, you're testing me. This is where I'm at. Okay. My patience is being tested because
Right.
what I'm
Okay.
offering you, if you'd listen and consider what I'm saying, yeah, maybe it might conflict with the strict standards of yourself that you've built yourself to, but there's a reason. There's a reason we came together, man. And I think your dad would understand better if he wasn't getting yelled at by you. But until both of you decide that that relationship is more important than the past, you're going to continue what you're doing. But hey, I'm just grateful. Paul, thank you for your time, your fucking courage, and your influence on the stream today. Unless you got anything to add, I'm going to throw you out.
I think we're good to go. I appreciate you, Mr. Talcott.
Much love. I saw you traveling. Be safe. Enjoy the day, man. Let this insanity of this metaverse fucking just slip away out of your mind. And Paul, all those who listen, all those who join the panel today, thank you. To the Pauls, thank you for the courage and bravery. I mean, it's talking about feelings and past. It can be humbling. And then to throw in the idea in the back of your mind, there's other people observing and listening. But I know Paul and I have the similar hearts. I won't say same. He's a unique man, as am I. So we have similar hearts in that we care. We want people to learn. You know, let me stop the we. I trust it applies, but we want people to learn. We all want to learn. We all want to grow. We all want to see each other do better. I know that's why people are paying attention to this. I really do. Even though they say it's for the angry cotton, for the anger, what it is the emotion, because we can relate to each other. We all have this capacity to relate because we are all related, connected. We have a relationship with each other through the all that is. And there's no separation from the all that is and me, the all that is and you. I don't know. I'm going to wrap it up there. Brothers and sisters, thank you again. God bless. Peace for everyone. Choose love and do the subscribe thing, please. Let's help this grow and live without fear. Peace.